all, welcome back to a new post today. Let's discuss the polity and the governance issues for this week gone by. So let's look at the very first issue for the polity and governance for the upcoming UPSC mains examination of 2025, which is going to be held in August, the month of August. So you have exactly 1 year where you can track and also keep look at the various dimensions of various polity and governance issues. This will also help you in public administration and the essay paper as well. So the very first issue is about now the Supreme Court forming a panel to look into the issues of the farmers. Agriculture is a state subject. However, the Supreme Court is intervening because of various PILs that is coming to it. So it said that it's going to constitute a multi-member committee to resolve all the issues of the farmers who are protesting at the Shambhu border between Punjab and Haryana. Now these issues will be solved in an amicable way, and they will also look into the other issues which keep propping up time and again and list the concerns of the farmers as well. The Punjab and Haryana governments have suggested the names to be included in the committee to be formed by the Supreme Court to resolve the farmers' issues. The second round recently of meeting between the Punjab and the Haryana officials with the farmers' unions to persuade them to lift the 6-month-old blockade at the Shambhu border remained inconclusive, with protesters sticking to the demand to march to Delhi with the tractors and trolleys. So the meeting was held by the Punjab Special Director General of Police at the Patiala police lines, which lasted for about an hour, where neither sides were willing to compromise. And Supreme Court has asked the farmers to clear the Shambhu border and asked the state governments to talk to the agitating farmers as well. Hundreds of farmers have been protesting at the Shambhu Kanauri on the Punjab and Haryana border in response to the Delhi Chalo March, which began on February 13th. Now the protesters have put forward 10 demands. Now these include a legal guarantee of the MSP for all the crops, implementation of the Swaminathan Commission formula, a full depth waiver of the farmers, pension for the farmers and laborers, withdrawal of all the cases against the farmers during the 2020 and 21 protest, among others. Now the convening an organ or a group, or the pressure group, which you could call Kisan Mazdoor Morcha, reaffirmed the farmers' standing and also leaving behind supporting them in the protest as well. These protests began against the 3 central laws of the farmers issue with regard to agriculture in 2020, where the farmers staged a dharna at the Shambhu border before taking a march to Delhi. Now 2 tents came up on this way. Farmers marched from the Shambhu border to Delhi, breaking all the blockades in between, and the temporary barricades were flung into the Gagar river. The 3 farmers' laws eventually were rolled back. In February, the farmers under the banner of the Kisan Mazdoor Morcha and the Samyukt Kisan Morcha had given a call of Delhi Chalo with several demands, including MSP for the crops. However, unlike in 2020, the Haryana government placed a 6-layer barricade brought in by the paramilitary forces, built a wall and used also a barbed fire vents to stop the farmers. Tear gas shelling were carried out using drones. Rubber bullets were fired to stop the farmers from marching ahead. Several farmers lost their lives during this protest. While the talks between the farmers' union and the union ministry remains inconclusive, Punjab Haryana High Court recently directed the Haryana government to remove the barricades. Now all eyes are on Haryana as the directives come at a time when the state is heading for assembly elections. And the next most important is about a permanent environmental regulator. Supreme Court has ordered setting up of a national environmental regulatory body on lines of the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India and also the Central Electricity Regulatory Commission under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. The Supreme Court began deliberations on the potential need for a permanent environmental regulator akin to the telecom and the electricity sector. Supreme Court examined the need for a permanent environmental regulator and said that the court passed an order approving the centre's notification, making an expert committee assisting the Supreme Court on environmental and forest issues, that is called as a Central Empowered Committee, a permanent body. Now the Supreme Court said importance of ensuring effective functioning of these environmental bodies is imperative for protection, restoration and development of the ecology as well. The Supreme Court passed the order while approving the centre's notification, making the expert committee committee assisting the Supreme Court on environmental issues, that is a central expert committee to be a permanent body with members chosen by the centre for a fixed tenure and also specified functions, approving the two notifications issued by the September 5th by the central government, constituting the CEC as a permanent body. The Supreme Court said it's important for enforcement of environmental rule of law. So what exactly is environmental rule of law? Now, referring to the United Nations environmental rule of law first global report, the Supreme Court said environmental rule of law refers to environmental governance that is ungirded by the fundamental tenets of rule of law. The court reiterated rule of law regime is one of the most effective and accountable and transparent institutions, responsive, inclusive, participatory and representative in decision making. The above were decided in the T and Govardhan Tirumulpad versus Union of India case in 2024. And the next one is about centre plans to add a column to gather caste data during the upcoming census. The Union government is yet to take a call on conducting the next census. However, there are discussions to include a column with regard to collection of caste data for caste enumeration. The discussions are on to add a column, and for this there will be the need to amend the Census Act of 1948, under which we conduct the census of India. Previously, the socio-economic caste census was conducted in 2011 and in all states and union territories, and the first findings were revealed in 2015 by the then Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. In 2011, the socio-economic caste census was the first paperless census in India conducted on handheld electronic devices during the previous UPA government, and it was conducted in 640 districts of the country. The Rural Government Ministry has taken the decision to use the socio-economic census data in all its programs like the MNREGA, National Food Security Act, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushalya Yojana. The socio-economic caste census is the first caste census after 1931, when the caste data was collected and enumerated for the last time during the British period in 1931, and in the aftermath we have the census collecting only the data of the SC and ST and not the other backward classes or other castes as well. And let me tell you that the socio-economic caste census was launched in 2011 in June from Sankola village of West Tripura district. The Census Act shall be amended to make enumeration of caste mandatory instead of leaving it to the whims of the Union Executive, and such data can be collected as a part of the regular census with few queries added to the questionnaire. And the next is about Supreme Court saying no for euthanasia. So Supreme Court refused to grant an aged couple's plea to allow passive euthanasia for their 30-year-old son who has been lying in comatose at home for almost 11 years after falling from the 4th floor of the building. Now, what exactly is passive euthanasia? Passive euthanasia is a condition where there is withdrawal of medical treatment with deliberate intention to hasten the death of a terminally ill patient. In 2018, Supreme Court gave a legal sanction to passive euthanasia in a landmark verdict permitting living will by the patients on withdrawing medical support if they slip into irreversible coma. The top court said that the directions and guidelines laid down by it and its directives shall remain in force until a legislation is brought about on the issue by the centre. However, the centre has not brought in yet any issue or legislation on this. The top court had in 2011 granted passive euthanasia to Aruna Schonborg, who had, where it was permitted to withdraw life sustaining treatment from the patient who is not in a position to make an informed position. So what exactly is the ruling about? Now, this is based by a plea or a petition by NGO Common Cause, who had approached the court seeking the direction to recognize a living will and contended that when a medical expert said that a person afflicted by a terminal disease at no point of return, then they should be given the right to refuse being put on a life support, because Article 29 not only supports right to life, but it also includes the right to die with dignity. So what exactly is a living will? Now, living will has been opposed by the centre, who does not support it, saying that it could be misused by the doctors and also the parents or the guardians, whoever is it. The living will is a document, a written document by way the patient can give is explicit instructions in advance about medical treatment to be administered when he or she is terminally ill or no longer will be be able to express informed consent. Passive euthanasia, meanwhile, is a condition where there is withdrawal of the medical treatment with deliberate intention to hasten the death of a terminally ill patient. In 2011, the top court recognized passive euthanasia. The centre opposed a living will and said the consent for removal of artificial support system by the patient may not be an informed one and without being aware of the medical advancements at that period of time. It had cited various examples in various countries disallowing the creation of a living will by the patients and also examples of its misuse as well. And the next is about now turning the fair price shops or the ration shops into nutritional shops and also providing an avenue to increase the earnings of the fair price shop owners. Now, Food Minister Prahlad Joshi launched a pilot project to transform the 60 fair price shops into so-called Jan Poshan Kendras. This is going to be started in a pilot project in UP, Gujarat, Rajasthan and Telangana, aiming to boost the viability and improve nutritional access to the people. The pilot includes a fair price shops dealers to diversify the inventory just beyond subsidized food grains which are offered on a issue price to those people who have a ration card. The revamped shop will now include stock, millets, pulses, dairy products, dairy essentials, potentially opening up a new revenue stream for the dealers as well. And he highlighted that the current operational inefficiency, saying that in some areas the fair price shops or the ration shops are just open for 8 to 9 days in a month, while some only once or thrice in a month, and in the rest of the times it remains mostly closed. He emphasized the existing commission structure to these dealers is inadequate, necessitating alternative approaches to utilize the shop space and manpower more efficiently and effectively. He also introduced an upgraded version of the Mera Ration app and unveiled quality manual handbook, contract manual of the Food Corporation of India, digital quality management system and the NABL accreditation of the labs. Approximately, we have 5.38 fair price shops operational across the country or rational shops, and these are successfully implementing the food distribution system or the PDS. Paving the way for nutritional security in India or food security in India. This Jan Poshan Kendras is going to transform the ration shop network. All India Fair Price Shop Dealers Federation welcomed the initiative of the Government of India, describing it as a very big relief, grappling with viability issues and also less of in earnings as well. Launch would also see the participation of representatives from the World Food Programme as well, and it is going to be remain to see how re-imaging these nutrition shops into fair price shops or ration shops into nutrition hubs will impact both the dealers and the beneficiaries in the public distribution system or the food security system as well. And the next most important issue is about Karnataka High Court now warning the state of Karnataka for not setting up a civil services board, expressing displeasure over the inaction of the Karnataka government in constituting a civil services board to suggest minimum tenure for the civil servants to avoid frequent transfers. The Karnataka government took notice of the state government and issued a notice to it. The division bench said that the petition is purely on the directives issued by the Supreme Court in TSR Subramaniam and other cases where it was decided in 2013 all the states should have a civil services board to deal with the conditions of the employees. Now, those directions were taken note by the High Court bench while deciding a writ petition in 2021. And the Government of India now recently cancelled the lateral employment into the central ministries and departments of the rank of joint secretary and also other positions as well above them. The decision conveyed a letter by the Ministry of Personnel Minister Jitendra Singh to the UPSC chairman Preeti Sudhan and made a significant shift in the way the senior officials are appointed to crucial ministries and departments. Lateral recruitment for joint secretaries, directors, deputy secretaries in the union government has been in vogue even in the previous governments as as well. This was cited by the present government, saying that there have been, according to the Lok Sabha reply recently dated during the budget session, 63 appointments have been made so far, and 35 from the private sector. 57 of these employees are still serving, and they serve on a contract basis for 3 to 5 years. And in this thing, the Minister of Personnel also noted that the lateral entry was endorsed by the Administration Reforms Commission in 2025. Mainly lateral employment is promoted or mooted to especially bring in more expertise and also skills from the private sector into the government department, and that too for only a limited period of time until they get the knowledge of these skills. However, recently there has been a hue and cry over these lateral entries, both saying it is against social justice, especially reservation to the SC, ST, OBCs, and also the principle of promotion being affected by them. It was cited that even the previous government appointed the chairman of the UDI, or the Unique Identification Authority of India, and the Nilakani, who was then Infosys employee, as a chairman of the UDI using lateral entry system. And the last issue is about the SC forming a task force for the doctor's safety. Supreme Court now ordered a formation of a 10-member national task force to monitor the safety of doctors in India. Ordering the formation of the task force, the bench of Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, said lack of institutional safety norms in the medical establishments against both sexual and non-sexual and sexual violence against medical professions is a matter of serious concern. The Supreme Court order came amid widespread protest with regard to the assault of the trainee doctor at the RG Kar Medical College and Hospital in Kolkata. The National Task Force is tasked with formation of action plans under two subheads, that is, number 1, preventing violence, including gender-based violence against the medical professionals, and also enforcing national protocol for dignified and safe working conditions for interns, resident doctors, senior residents, doctors, nurses, and all other medical profession. The task force formed under the Union Ministry of Health will submit an interim report within 3 weeks' time and final report in 2 months' time from the date of the Supreme Court order. The data is submitted to be tabulated and filed with the affidavit by the Union Government within 1 month of this order. This is said by the Supreme Court of India. And these are the most important issues from polity and governance point of view, which I thought I should be discussing with you for the week gone by. If you did like them, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video. And I shall see you next week with another most important list of the polity and governance for the week gone by. Until then, it's very happy learning.